It's Beer O'Clock, and it's the Beer O'Clock show, where every week we take a selected beer and discuss its various merits. My name is Mark, and joining me, beardier than Mr. Beard after spending a week at Beard Camp, it's Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
You're looking very...
You sound better this week.
I'm feeling slightly better.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm not the walrus anymore, which I had some people refer to me on Twitter as, asking how the Love Walrus was feeling, which was very kind of them. But you're looking exceptionally beardy.
Thank you very much.
I know I compliment you on your hirsutedness, at least on the lower portion of your head, every week. The top portion, not so much.
No, not so much. It seems to have found a new place to grow.
We have a very special beer this week, another beer in our London series. But before we get to that, Stephen, you have some beery news?
I do have some beery news. It's probably nothing that people haven't already heard until this point, seeing as we're normally a week behind everything else when we record. But for those of you that don't follow every single tweet of every single person on Twitter, here's the roundup of this week's news, the key things that I've picked up. You've thrown me now.
Sorry.
Completely thrown me. Okay, so Wetherspoons announced last week that they're going to be teaming up with 6 Point Brewery of Brooklyn, New York, and they're going to be serving 3 of their beers in cans across the Wetherspoon network. Launching on the 5th of March. The 3 beers are a pale ale stroke wheat stroke cream ale by the name of Sweet Action at 5.4%, the Crisp, which is a Pilsner-style lager, and then Bengali Tiger, which is, I think that's a bit more of an IPA-style beer. 6 Point brewed a collaboration beer with Adnams for Wetherspoons a while back, and that was, I think that was called Bengali Tiger, and that was really good. So look out for the cans in Wetherspoons from the 5th of March.
Did we have a 6 Point beer last year?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Completely missed them.
Right, I think I'm getting it mixed up for something else. Did we do a 6-barrel... What was that Odell beer that we did?
5-barrel pale ale.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm being confused.
Yeah. So there's some news for Wetherspoons fans.
Very good.
Next story is our old friends Brewdog are up to their little marketing tricks again. This one, you're going to love this one. They've teamed up with a restaurant chain called Honest Burgers to create the Brew Burger, which is a British burger infused with craft beer, and apparently it has so much 5 a.m. Saint in it that you have to actually be 18 or older to eat it, and you have to show identification to order this burger.
What a load of wank.
Well, that to one side, it does sound like an incredibly good burger, though. It's 150 grams of aged beef patty with, pronunciation trouble, Comté cheese, and bacon that has been candied with Brewdog's 5 a.m. Saint, topped with beef dripping and beer fried onions using Brewdog's flagship Punk IPA, and a barbecue reduction made from Brewdog's Paradox cask-aged Imperial Stout. And surprise, surprise, they've released a beer to accompany the burger as well. So a new bottle called Bourbon Baby to complement the taste notes of the Brew Burger. It's a barrel-aged baby Scotch ale. So those burgers are going to be available in Honest Burgers restaurants from the 3rd of April until the 2nd of March, and Brewdog bars on selected dates if you want to try the UK's most alcoholic burger.
Is that 3rd of April to the 2nd of May, not March?
No, 3rd of March until the 2nd of April.
Okay. You said those around the wrong way.
Did I get them around? I was so excited about the fact that there's a burger that's so alcoholic you have to show identification to buy it. And you know I'm going to be out trying to find it, just to try it.
Yeah, I might come and try it with you, to be honest.
I think that might have to be a little field trip for the
I
beer.
might actually enjoy a Brewdog beer then, just by eating a burger.
Yeah. Do you want some more?
Yeah,
You want some more
well,
news?
you're enjoying
Yeah,
this.
well, I'm enjoying this. The next two stories are from the same brewery, so old favourites, friends of the show, Adnams. They've got a new Jack brand beer on its way out called Mosaic Pale Ale, made purely with Mosaic hops, which is a new US hop, which was released in early 2012. Very similar to Citra flavour, only more intense. It was launched this past weekend at the Craft Beer Rising on cask and keg, and 330ml bottles will be following late in March. So if you're a fan of the Jack brand series of Adnams, look out for their new Mosaic Pale Ale.
Speaking of Citra,
Mm-hmm.
is the train that goes from London to Norwich, do they serve Oakham Ales Citra on board?
No. I think he was on it before he got on the
Right.
train last
Because
night.
I saw you had one at one point on the train. Then Chris and
Did I?
Emma were coming out on the train somewhere, they had it. And then Melissa Cole was on the train somewhere and she had it. It's like, is it being served
no,
in first class or something?
No, it's that it's probably that one that we did last season.
The Marks and Spencer's one.
The M&S version of it. Because
they- Are they serving that on the trains or something?
no, but every major train station
Right.
that I know has an M&S food now.
Right.
So it's the obvious choice for the beer connoisseur.
So all
Is-
these
is-
all these alcoholics are bottling up before they get on the train.
Oh hell yeah! It's all about the train beers these days. Can't go anywhere without a train beer.
Fair enough. Next story.
Next story, and the final one this week. Again, a story from Adnams. This one's a couple of weeks old. I meant to mention this last week, but in our rush to get through the show because you were feeling like crap, I completely forgot about it. Adnams have collaborated with Camden Town Brewery, who we're going to be featuring later on in this season. So in our part 2 of season 4, we'll be featuring Camden Town. But Adnams and Camden Town have got together to produce a beer called Southtown Red Ale, which is a limited edition cask beer, 4.9% ABV, brewed with a selection of Australian hops, and also brewed with malted rye for a freshly baked bread taste. That will be released in March, mainly in pubs and in the 5-litre mini casks from Adnams shops and online as well. So actually sounds like quite a nice beer. If you want to check out the entire backstory behind that, it's on the Adnams website as one of their news stories. So adnams.co.uk. Check out their collaboration they're doing with Camden Town Brewery. And once it's out there, give us a tweet and let us know if you've had some and whether it's any good, more importantly.
Very good. Right, that's the end of your news. We have one extra item. A couple of weeks ago we had a competition. From what I understand, we were inundated with an entry.
We were completely inundated with an entry. Twitter was awash with people entering this competition. But to be fair, there were certain restrictions that we put on this competition. That was that neither you or I could enter, and Doody couldn't enter. So pretty much that's our listenership out of the window. But and I think also because of the prize that we were giving away, pretty much sure that there's not a single person in the UK that hasn't tried these beers yet, particularly from beer blogging circles, because everyone got sent so much of them to try. But we do have a winner. There's no point firing up the random number generator to generate number 1. But a historic moment on the Beer O'Clock Show, because this is our second time winner of a competition. Mr. Miles Lambert, step forward. You are the winner of 2 bottles each of the Harvestoons, the Ridge and Broken Dial Amber Ale. Can you please DM us your address again? Because I've lost it from the last time you won a competition.
Congratulations on winning the first beers slagged out by us this season. I'm sure you'll
Yeah.
enjoy them.
Well done, Miles. Number 2 fan, I think you've become now.
Very good, very good, very good. Right, shall we get on to this week's beer?
Yes, let's drink. I'm thirsty.
Cool. This is a beer that's been put out by a brewery from around my way, actually, in South London, in Penge. a company called Honest Brew, who don't have their own brewery. They piggyback off of Late Night's Brewery out in Penge. But they seem like a cracking bunch of guys, and they've put out a very interesting looking beer, to me at least, because it's made with New Zealand hops, rare hops from Aotearoa. It's called the Riwaka Hop Mule. It's a 5.3% India Pale Ale. Stephen, what else do you know about this beer, mate?
I know a little bit about this because I've had it before. Because I actually won a competition with Honest Brew back in November, where you had to send a picture that you had taken, and then they printed the picture on the front of a bottle of beer. So I won a bottle of this with my own picture on the front of it. And it was also part of the... So because I therefore deemed it as a very special beer, it became part of the 12 Beers of Christmas thing that I did at Christmas. It was the first beer that I did at Christmas. So I've already drunk this. I've already reviewed it. It's on the website.
Lovely. Okay. Skip to the end.
It's a decent beer. But I'm not gonna say too much more about it and the background of it because this is another one of our Breweries of London beers this season. We've got an interview coming up at the end of the show with Andrew Reeve, who's the founder of Honest Brew, and he talks with quite a lot of passion about this beer in the interview at the end. So make sure you stick around and listen to that once the show finishes.
Indeedy. We've already got people on Twitter saying what a cracking beer this is. And it's only a little bottle, so the show might be over quite shortly if it's as nice as everyone says it is. So, shall we get into it, mate?
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
Big fresh hoppy aromas coming from the bottle. It pours an absolutely stunning colour.
And it's got that craft haze to it as well.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Beautiful colour beer.
Wow, that's a really fresh nose on it. Isn't it?
Yeah. Tropical with hints of pine in the background.
Mm-hmm. Very slight hint of pineapple as well.
Yeah. Maybe some grapefruit there.
Yeah.
It's a lovely aroma, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
Really lovely aroma.
One finger head on it. Very nice looking glass.
Yeah. Decent carbonation. It's holding very steadily the carbonation. Like you say, nice haze to it as well.
Yep.
Let's get into this, I think, because it's making my mouth water, all this smelling and looking and everything.
I love that pineapple on the nose.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get down.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, that's so refreshing.
That tropical fruit really comes through.
Mm.
I'm getting that really soft pineapple straight over top of everything.
Yep.
With some nice, really crisp hops in the background.
I think all the tropical fruit flavourings are in there, aren't they? You've got pineapple. You've probably got there's some grapefruit there, some passion fruit, I think, coming through. It's another one. It's like and you know what it is now. It's like alcoholic umbongo. Again, it's so nice. It's really refreshing, beautifully well balanced, perfectly sweet. The hops are light. They're not smacking you in the face. There's not a massive bitterness at the end. It's just a nice, gentle, caressing bitterness that follows through.
Yeah, I'm getting a similar hop profile to what I get with the American IPAs. Not as in your face as the American ones, where they're really doubling up and tripling up. But that tropical fruit creaminess coming over the top. Bloody hell, mate.
This is a good beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a real stunner.
This is lovely. It's obviously those Kiwi hops coming in.
Yeah, no. By all accounts, they're quite difficult to get hold of as well. The Riwaka hop, and that's kind of Andrew explains that a little bit in the interview at the end of the show in terms of how they came about getting the hop and why it's called Hop Mule. And I actually think I'm right in saying he's either recently been back to New Zealand or he's over there at the moment actually trying to source some more Riwaka hops to use in future brews.
Yeah. So where are these malts from? Marisota, Crystal. I've heard of Crystal before. I've heard of Marisota. There's a wheat malt as well. I assume it's just plain wheat malt. Not a particular strand.
Hmm.
Because everyone always talks about where the hops are from, but they never really talk about where the malts are from. Any idea?
Well, you're challenging me there on... I don't know, they come from a field.
Well, so do hops. Doesn't stop you being a hop fanboy.
I think the hops are... I don't know. Why do you always ask me these questions? Why don't you wait until we've got a brewer on the show and ask them
right.
where?
When's Andy coming on?
Andy is on in a few weeks.
I'll ask him then. I'll make a note.
Before Andy, we have the return of your favourite cricket Jeff for a guest appearance. So there's no point asking him. Yeah, there's no point asking him anything about anything.
Gentlemen, I didn't realise there were malts and beer.
Yeah,
I have learned something.
Chuckling or making an arse for himself. No, I in all seriousness, I don't know whether there's any difference to where the malts come from. The hops are very much. You get different profiles of hops because of the different climates that they grow in.
Yeah.
So that's why you get different flavourings.
Well, it's like wines as well, isn't it? Depending on where the grapes are, or what temperatures the grapes are grown in, you get different tastes in your wine.
Mm-hmm.
Beer is much more interesting than wine.
It's much more interesting, yeah. Although I'm not sure the wine wankers would agree.
I find it interesting that there's a lot of pubs that, I think it might be Wetherspoons, selling a high ABV IPA, and they'll only serve it to you in half pints.
Yes,
because it's something like 8% or something.
Yeah, that was me and my rant the other week when I was drunk in Leeds.
Whereas you can get a large glass of wine, which is 12% sometimes, or more. No problem. Hypocrisy.
And I have nothing now. All I was going to say was that they would sell you 2 half pints as well, but they won't sell you a pint.
Can I have 2 half pints in a pint glass, please?
Yeah. Well, no, we can't do that.
This reminds me of the time I went to the KFC drive-thru and asked for 15 nuggets, and they said, we only do 6 and 9. I said, well, can I have 6 nuggets and 9 nuggets, please?
Yeah. We're not paid to add up.
It was me being difficult, sure, but still.
This is a really nice beer, and if
I'm done.
If people want to get hold of this is Honest Brew, one of the online suppliers that sorted us out with a discount for this season as well. So you can go to the Honest Brew web shop, go onto our website, click on Season 4 beer list link right down at the bottom, click on the Honest Brew logo, and go in and enter the code, and you can get 10% off of some Honest Brew beers as well. So
yeah, and this beer it's less than £3.
Yeah, it's a good bottle actually.
Granted, it's only a small bottle. It's a 375 ml. But still, £2.90 for this beer. Bloody, I would drink this all night.
It's a real session beer, isn't it?
That's lovely. You wouldn't think it was 5 points.
No, I think that would sneak up on you after a few.
It would, but I wouldn't mind.
No, me either.
So, my closing...
Should probably just thank Andrew and Honest Brew actually, because they actually comped us these beers. So even though they're only £2.90 a bottle, that they did give us these to feature on the show. And with all of the London beers that were featured this season, we've actually asked the brewers which beer that they wanted us to showcase on the show, and so this was the beer that Andrew asked us to feature. So we're not just saying great things, as from previous experiences, you will know. We're not just going to say good things because beer's been given to us. This is genuinely a very good beer.
Yeah, people should know, if they listen to this show long enough, that neither of us can be enthusiastic about a beer that we actually dislike. We might be diplomatic at best, but usually not even that much.
No matter how much of it we've been given.
But this beer reminds me, remember that American one that I told you about that I bought in cans from Beautiful Beers and Bury St Edmunds?
Yes.
Which was the Sly Fox Phoenix Pale, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that had a pineapple-y taste to it as well. This is much like that, but a bit creamier. And I don't mean cream as in cream, but cream as in smoothness on the palate. That kind of lingering satin feeling to it. This is a lovely beer. Judy was right when he said tonight on Twitter that this was a cracker. I would have this again and again. That pineapple on the nose as soon as you open it, and that carrying through with an overall tropicalness on the palate. The hops that are just lingering there in the background to remind you it's an IPA, but they're not kind of smashing you over the head with it. Perfectly balanced. Lovely, lovely flavours coming through. That's all I can say.
I'm not going to say anything. That was beautiful. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
Remember to stay tuned to the end of the show after the little tinkly piano for Steve's interview with Honest Brew. Thanks again, guys, for the beer. It's very much appreciated. And I look forward to tasting some more of your beer. Since I've just had it confirmed that I can actually get beer delivered to work, I might start ordering some stuff in. Cool. All right, mate. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, then.
No, I'm done. I want another bottle of that.
Yeah, me too.
That was really nice. It's not very often that we get to the end of a beer and then really want another one straight after. But that was good tonight. Enjoyed that.
That was lovely. Right. I'm going to check that in, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it was a lovely beer. That's it.
Good.
Thank you very much, mate.
Highlight You're very welcome. Week. Highlight of my week, as always.
I'll talk to you next week when we are drinking. What are we drinking next week?
We are drinking Dominion Hop Mountain next week. Another beer that we've been sent and asked to feature. So, not from a UK brewery, but from an American brewery that's got some really good UK distributors.
Which we need more of.
Yes.
Cool. Until then, thank you very much. Have a lovely week. Have a lovely weekend. And I'll talk to you Monday.
Bye.
It's beer o'clock and welcome to another instalment of our Season 4 Breweries of London series. And this evening's guest is Andrew Reeve from Honest Brew. Good evening, Andrew. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Excellent. Andrew, to start off the interview, tell us a little bit about Honest Brew. What's it all about? How did it start?
Honest Brew started back in 2012 with basically just a concept of us wanting to create a place where people can come along and create their own beer. And since then, the idea's really developed. And we're really all about getting people involved in creating beer and also getting to enjoy their favourite things. So we've done live brewing events with Melissa Cole. We did one out at Urban Sessions there. That was really, really good fun with a few breweries coming along, like Weird Beard, and we even had Stuart along to do a bit of a wild beer, I would say. But now we've kind of progressed on from there, where people have actually said, right, we want to be able to drink some of those beers. So what we really want to do is to give people access to sort of their favourite things to drink, wherever they are, anytime, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you started off with the live events. Tell us a little bit more about the format of those events and what was the decision in switching from those to actually producing the beers?
Yeah, we started off doing a few events where we had this small little pop-up kit where we could take it to different places and actually get people involved in brewing the beer. and it was really, really good fun. We had some different ideas come in, and people love being involved in doing that. And we still keep that as a part of what Honest Brew is all about, that we get people involved in creating the beers. But while we were there, people were always like, oh, can we try one of your guys' beers? Like, where's your guys' beers? And we had a few that were done, and so we'd let people taste them. We're like, oh, can I buy some of this? So we've kind of let customers really determine what they want from the brand, really. And that's kind of just now happened that we've started to release some of ours. We've done beers that we've actually got people in to create as well. So our home brewer, Darren, came to us with a really, really great milk stout. He was like, I want to make this. So we tried it and we're like, yeah, let's make it. So we brewed that in a commercial brewery, just a small run of it, and then we've put it up online in our store. It's gone really, really well. Like, people love the beer. So I guess it's what we're really about, is letting people be creative, being innovative with what we do, but also allowing people to get access to good beer wherever they are.
And you mentioned there that you do your you do your brewing at a commercial brewery.
Yeah.
I'm right in saying that you brew at late nights.
Yes.
How did that come about, and how does that work in terms of you sharing the space?
I'd probably have to blame or more be thankful of Twitter for that one. I met Steve and Late Nights Brewery over Twitter and just got to know him probably late part of 2012, and just went down and caught up with him. And he's just a really nice guy. He's really open to helping people out, really. That's one of Steve's big philosophies, and he offered up some space, and we've put our little pilot kit in down there that we can brew commercially on. So we only do really small runs, 120, 130 bottles on that, and we use that to sort of bring out the first part of a new beer. So that's kind of how the space really works. We've got our own little kit down there. Steve's got his 6-barrel kit there, and a few boys all working away.
Okay, and before we started recording, we were chatting, and you mentioned that you might be doing something with Late Nights.
Yeah.
In terms of a collaboration.
We did a beer not long ago called Mash Monkeys, which is a collaboration that we sometimes do. And the first one we did, we basically brewed a beer on a 6-barrel kit of Steve's. Then we took some of the runnings and put it in the little pilot kit, and then hopped it up a lot. We basically got 8.5% IPA, and we just put that out as a beer that we did together. So it's his first runnings on our little kit. The next one we're looking at doing is going to be a lager that we're going to do. So it's probably going to be going out. I'm not sure if it's going to be a late night or where that's going to go out, but just kind of going to be involved in seeing what we can create in our lager, really.
Okay. And on your website, and you've mentioned it a couple of times there, you've got this this option to create a beer.
Yes.
Obviously, people can go in and they can put their suggestions into what they'd like to see. Will you create anything that's suggested, or is there a bit of a quality control process that goes through?
I guess we'll have to put in some quality controls. We've done the one with Stuart where he wanted to put in the wood lice. And
yeah.
I think a few people have seen that one, and some people liked it, some people definitely didn't like the idea. The whole concept's really that we want people to tell us what they want to see in beer, what they want to see created, what they want to be involved in making, and we'll just really make it happen. I guess we do have to be somewhat selective in what gets produced. We can't make everything, but the more interested in the concept, the more likely it is to happen, really.
Okay. And on this evening's show, we were drinking the Riwaka Hop Mule that you produce. How did that beer come about? Where did the original idea come from? Where was the inspiration for it for you?
So that original beer, I probably didn't say before 2012. I used to live in New Zealand. That's where I've grown up. So I'm quite passionate about New Zealand hops and what they bring to beer. And Riwaka Hop Mule is all about bringing Riwaka to the UK a bit more. Like people that don't know the Riwaka hop, it's a really, really great hop that comes out of New Zealand, but it's also quite hard to get hold of in commercial quantities. So it's really, really hard to get hold of in the UK now. A lot of it just goes to the domestic market. We were lucky enough to get some from New Zealand hops directly, and they supplied it to New Zealand, and we had to actually mule it over. So we still bought it in our domestic market, and then we brought it over with our own cunning hop mule that literally bought 5 kgs of hops over. So we've only done a really small run of this beer, and it's just to showcase really what this Riwaka hop's like and let a few people taste it.
And is that in terms of your range of beers, is that going to be one of your sort of staple beers, or is that one that we're likely to see brewed again and again, or just when you can get hold of the hop?
It's really depends when we can get hold of Riwaka for that one. I'm back in New Zealand for 2 weeks in February, so we'll see if we can get some more.
Hopefully bringing back more, back some more with you. So how did you start in brewing? How did you get involved in brewing?
I originally started when I was about 16. I was talking to my parents about having a go at brewing beer, which you probably shouldn't be doing when you're 16, but they said, if you can make something that's drinkable, we'll let you drink it. But the first batch I made was far, far, far from drinkable. But it just kind of made me want to keep going, really. I stopped a little bit while I was sort of in my 18s. It was far too easy just to buy beer then. But then I really got stuck back into it when the whole craft beer, I guess I was quite influenced from America coming over to New Zealand. A lot of the craft beers and a lot of interesting beers have been created in New Zealand. It inspired me again to get back into brewing. So yeah, that's what really started back in New Zealand. And when I came over here, I didn't really have a space to keep brewing. So that's where Honest Brew really started from.
Okay. And what's the brewing scene like in New Zealand then?
It's actually changed heaps since I left New Zealand about 3 years ago. There's been lots and lots of breweries starting up. But when I was there's still a lot of great little breweries coming along. So you've got Mile, which is pretty well known now, and you've got a lot of I won't say smaller, but 8 Wide. You can get some of their beers available in the UK now. And you've also got lots of little ones like Yeasty Boys, and you've also got one in my old hometown pretty much, which is in Hamilton, and that's actually got one of the brewers, Kelly, who used to be at Thornbridge.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's not there anymore, but he was working there for a bit. Yeah, so that's Good George.
Yeah.
And for anyone that hasn't seen the Wild Beer, they did a collaboration with Good George and made Schnoodle Pip.
Yes, yeah.
Which is probably,
I tried that over Christmas.
I've mentioned it a lot, but it's probably one of my favourite beers from last year. I really enjoyed it.
It was actually stunning. I really enjoyed it. I was a little bit wary of it just because of the ingredients that had gone into it and the amount of ingredients that had gone into it. But actually, they all worked really well together.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a really great beer.
Yeah. So it's quite a vibrant brewing scene.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And people are all up for innovation in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. They kind of throw a bit of Kiwi culture into what they do. So.
Okay. And you've brought a little bit of that over here with you.
Hopefully.
So other than obviously getting ideas from the creator beer that people can offer, where does your inspiration keep coming from for different beers?
All of it comes from what we want to see created, really. We like the concept that beer can be a lot more than just what people see like a lager or something like that is. That beer can actually be matched alongside food, and it can actually be a drink that can be enjoyed at home with dinner. And that's a lot of inspiration that we put into our beer to make a product that can go really great with food, or can be enjoyed for what it is by taste rather than for what it may or may not do socially. It's more like a great enjoyable thing.
Yeah. And Honest Brew seems to be going from strength to strength at the moment. What's next for you? What does 2014 hold for Honest Brew?
2014, we're really going to be pushing getting beer how people want it. So it's all about your guys' favourites. So it's not just about us and producing our honest beers. It's about what beers are available and also what drinks. So Honest Brew late last year launched its online platform, which is basically, it's only really a platform. The whole idea is that you guys can get your favourite things that you want delivered wherever you are. So you can get honest beers, you can get other great breweries. We're all just sort of putting it together and making it accessible for sort of everyone. Okay.
And opportunity for a bit of a sales pitch, really. Where can people go to find that information?
Just jump onto the website. It's the easiest way. So if you go to honestbrew.co.uk, you'll see it all there, and it's the easiest way basically to start getting some good beer.
And for people that haven't tried Honest Brew beers before, why should they try yours over any of the other beers that are out there at the moment?
I'd like to say try a few. Don't be limited by just trying one brewery. I'd say grab a selection and try all of them. Everyone's tastes are different. We hope that you'll enjoy our beers because we want them to be enjoyed with food. If that's the kind of beer that is your favourite, then that's what you'll enjoy. But we're not saying, I don't think ours are going to be any better. It might just be better for you.
Okay. And at the moment, London's obviously quite the place for brewing. And you know, again, we spoke earlier about how there seems to be a new brewery popping up every week almost in London. What does it mean to you to be brewing in London right now?
It's a great space to be brewing because there's so much happening here, and there's a lot of community around it as well. Like, we're part of the LBA, and there's some great brewers there. I mean, I've never met a brewer that isn't a great person to get to know. So being in London, you've got a huge community around you, and there's always something happening. But saying that, London shouldn't be seen as being exclusive, and London is where it's happening. Like, there's lots of breweries outside of London that are just as innovative. I think London's great because you've got the community, but there's also lots of places, like you look at Wild, that are outside of London. They're making some of those great beers like we talked about.
Yeah.
For us, being in London just is a great place to be. It's really good fun.
Okay. Andrew, thank you very much for your time. Just to remind people that to have a look at your website, honestbrew.co.uk, because you can have a look at where your story basically on there, and you can even have a go at suggesting your own beer on there through
get creative.
the creator beer. Yeah, and you never know, maybe we can come up with a Beer O'Clock Show beer at some point.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
can suggest the right combination of ingredients. But thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.